So we went to Israel.
Let's talk about Israel.
Let's talk about Israel. During our world trip, near the end of 2014, we traveled through Israel. We flew there from Antalya, Turkey, to Tel Aviv, Israel, with Istanbul as a connecting point. We stayed there. We stayed in an Airbnb that we found. It was about $46 a night for the room. It's a private room and a shared bathroom. $46 a night equals $23 per person. It was 3 blocks from Frishman Beach in Tel Aviv. So we went to the beach practically every other day, almost every day when we were there.
We made it to Israel. And we are in Tel Aviv.
We stayed with this lovely Russian girl and her evil cat.
It wasn't evil. It just looked evil.
It was.
It's very friendly.
Yeah.
We love that cat. We miss it.
If you were going to cast a cat as the evil cat in a movie, this is the cat you would cast. But it is friendly. We stayed in Israel for about 3 weeks. The majority of the time we spent in Tel Aviv. We did rent a car to drive around. Israel itself isn't really big at all, so you can go pretty much anywhere using day trips. It was a small, smart car. The rental was just $15 a day. I think there might have been some insurance costs on top of that, but it was hardly anything. We have American driver's license and passports, and that's all you needed, and they let you drive. Our first day trip, we drove up to Caesarea, which is King Herod's old palace, which was built right on the beach. There's ancient Roman aqueducts still there. It's the first place that we've been where we saw ruins right on the beach, I think.
Turkey, we saw ruins on the beach.
Near the beach. This was like the water was...
Oh yeah, the water was engulfing the ruins. We drove through Nazareth on our way up to Galilee. We just drove through.
We drove up to Tiberias, which is a small town on the Sea of Galilee, and just drove around the countryside there for a bit. It was worth the day trip. The Sea of Galilee was a lot smaller than we thought it would be. I think they used the word sea quite liberally because it was kind of just a big lake. We did another day trip where we drove the Dead Sea, and in doing so we stopped at Masada, which was one of King Herod's palaces that he built right on a cliff overlooking the Dead Sea. From the history, it says that he built it just to prove he could. Masada itself has a very interesting history. I'll put a link to the Wikipedia article below with more information about it, but basically what happened is during the First Roman-Jewish War, a bunch of Jewish rebels held up inside of Masada. They were surrounded by legions of Roman troops during a siege. The Roman troops ended up building a long ramp up over the fortress walls, but before they got over the rampart walls, all the Jews inside committed suicide to deny the Romans their victory. I know I'm butchering the story, but I'll put a link to it in the description. We also drove down to the Dead Sea, which was not far from there. It's a very touristy thing to do, but we're glad we did it.
It felt very slimy, and you just floated to the top, kind of sat on the top.
I don't know if it was a property of the water itself. To the touch, it felt slippery, but when you step in it, you're super buoyant.
It can sting if you have any cuts or anything.
Yeah, if you have any abrasions or small cuts or any sores or anything on your skin, you're going to get a mild to moderate stinging sensation the entire time. Alright, so you're floating, right?
Yeah, my feet won't go down to the bottom.
Where would the water normally be on you? Yeah. From Tel Aviv, we took a day trip to Jerusalem using a bus. I think it's just like an hour and a half bus ride over there. And we walked around Jerusalem for the whole day. We went to all the 3 different sections. We went to the Christian quarter, the Jewish quarter, and the Muslim quarter, and just did the basic tourist things. It was very enlightening to see in person all these very, very historical places, and it was interesting to see the 3 religions
very close together,
sharing a space.
Just seeing this part of the world where all these wars happened was very interesting.
There's a lot of history in Jerusalem. You can feel it just kind of permeating the environment. So we accidentally went over to the Palestinian side. We didn't have our passports with us, and we wanted to go over to the Palestinian side to go up Mount Olive. We really wanted to get some good video and photos from Mount Olive back towards Old City. People told us it would be okay to go through there as the gateways were open, but we didn't have our passports with us.
We didn't feel comfortable without them.
Yeah, we didn't want to get stuck. If they decided to close the passway between Palestine and Israel, we didn't want to get stuck on the wrong side without our passports. So we only walked on the other side for 30-40 minutes, then we turned around and came back. After 3 weeks were done, our next stop was Jordan. So we took a bus down to Eilat.
We got to the bus stop, then got in a taxi to the border control, and then we walked through that.
That was a pretty straightforward process. We did get a stamp in our passport. We did not get a stamp in our passport coming in, but we did get a stamp in our passport going out. For some people, this can potentially be an issue if you're traveling to other Islamic countries where they don't have a good relationship with Israel, to have a stamp in your passport. If that's the case, we were told that you could just get a stamp on a piece of paper that you keep in your passport. I'm not sure how true that is or isn't, but we never traveled to any countries where having the stamp would be a big issue.